Hello, my name is Zach Carley. I'm the Director of Sports and Competition for Special Olympics Ohio. The purpose of this video is to show you how to fill out the registration for our fall sporting events, equestrian, golf, softball, and flag football. This video will show you a variety of emails that you will be receiving, as well as a new web platform called Stacker that is where you will house all your information and registrations. So let's jump in. You will receive an email that looks similar to this from me. It'll include attachments and it'll include a lot of this information. It'll look like this, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to complete your registration. Please read this information carefully, as it is all very important when it comes to our fall events. To start registering for one of our fall events, you need to start by opening the local program registration form. In your email, if you click the link that says click here, it'll open up a separate link to this page. Once you see this State Fall Games Local Program Registration Form, you know you're in the right spot. If at any time you have any issues with filling out this form or any questions pertaining to registration, please send me an email at zcarley@sooh.org. To start filling out this form, you're going to add your local program. You have the option to type in your local program if you wanted to quick select it, or you can scroll through the list and find your program. For the tutorial purpose, I made a local program called State Registration Tutorial, so I'll click that one. But you will select your program here. You're going to select the event that you're registering for. Again, you have 4 choices here: golf, softball, equestrian, or flag football. You will have to fill out a new one of these forms for each of these events. So pick whichever one you'd like to start with. We'll do softball. And then you start going down the blanks. Local coordinator's first name. This should be your first name, as the local coordinator is the one that should be filling out this form. So you'll put in your first name, you'll put in your last name. It's asking for a cell phone, and you can type your phone number in there. It should auto make it into the format that it is asking for, as long as you just type numbers. It's going to ask for your email address. Now, this email address is the one that is attached to your accreditation. It's also the one that is attached to the email that I sent the information to. You're going to put your number of athletes. So for state softball here, we're really only registering the skills portion, as the team portion, if your team makes it past your regional tournament, I'll reach out to confirm both your number as on your rosters, coaches, etc. So this is really looking at the skills portion. Number of athletes in my skills, 5. Number of partners, we don't have partners for skills. You can keep that at 0. Again, if you have a unified softball team, I'll reach out separately if you make it, if you win your regional and advance to state. Number of coaches and chaperones for skills. And then, will the local coordinator serve as HOD? So will you be the HOD? You'll hit yes, and then nothing else. If you were to click no here, it'll prompt you for another name and another phone number. And it'll prompt you for an email address as well. So that's only if you are not going to serve as the HOD for your delegation. But if you will be the HOD, you'll hit yes, then you can submit that form. You'll get this pop-up Now, if you are going to be coming to another state event, so if you're going to come to equestrian or golf or flag football, you can hit this submit another response, and it'll take you right back to that form to fill out a new form for that event. If you're not going to come to more, or you're done filling out your forms, you can click on this link, and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. And we'll get that here. We'll get to that in 1 second. Once you submit your form and you get to this page, what should automatically happen is you should get another email sent to you that looks something like this. So it'll tell you what your event is. This one says equestrian because I had done that earlier. But it'll tell you your event that you just registered for, all your contact information, your number. If there's a fee associated, it'll calculate it. Don't be too concerned if this fee number is off right now, as we can edit this at a later step. And again, my contact information is part of that as well. This link right here that is part of that email is the same link that you find at the end of this registration. So you can either click on it here or you can do it in your email. It's your choice. So say you're done filling out your forms for the events that your local program will be attending, and you click on this, it'll take you to this page. At this point, what you need to do is you'll enter your email address. So again, this is the email address that we have on file for your accreditation, and you'll hit continue with email. When that happens, a page like this will pop up, and it'll tell you to check your email. So once you check your email, and it can take some time to send this email to you, so please be patient. It's been taking sometimes up to 10 minutes to send this email. But once you get this email, what it'll look like is you'll see an email like this. It'll say login. A request was made to log in with this email address. You can continue using the magic link or that code. So if you click on this link, it'll take you right into the page. Or if you would prefer to enter the code, you can do that as well. And you would enter that code here and then hit continue. So whether you enter the code or click that magic link, the next page that'll pop up will look like this. This is the portal where you will be registering your teams and your athletes and partners and coaches and chaperones for our state fall games. This first page that you'll see here is your local program information. Your local program name will be at the top here. Mine's state registration tutorial for this purpose, but if you were Allen County Special Olympics, I would say it right here. So whatever your local program name, that will say it up here. It'll also list your name. This is that local program information that we have on file from accreditation. So it'll tell you your region, your accreditation year. Then it will have your contact information. Say you notice something in here that's wrong. Well, at that point, you can edit this, and you can go in and you can change these fields. So maybe if you need to update an address or update a phone number or an email, you can do that right here and then hit save. If everything looks good though, there's no need to edit that. The next toggle that you'll see on this page is the local program event registrations. When you click on that, you'll see a screen similar to this. It'll have those registrations that you had submitted from this form. So when you submitted this form, they will pop up in your registered events on Stacker. This will show you that you registered, that you put in your local program registration for golf, for equestrian, for softball, whichever ones you do. This does take time as well. So please be patient if it doesn't pop up right away. it's been going a little slow recently, so if for some reason it doesn't pop up in 20 minutes or so after you submit it, let me know and I'll take a look. If you need to edit any of this information, you can do that as well by clicking on it and then doing edit. So say you're like, oh shoot, I made a mistake. I only have 2 coaches. You can take that 2 out or that 3 out, make it a 2. You don't have to worry about these number of softball teams, number of flag football teams right now. We can always go through and edit that later to get your total to be correct. It'll update your registration fees based on these numbers. But like I said before, this is more for once we get everything set. So if that number looks off, don't worry too much because we can correct that at a later time. So back at our event registrations, I can see that I registered for golf and equestrian, and eventually that softball one that I just submitted will pop up here as well. At this point, we're ready to register our athletes, our partners, our coaches, and our chaperones. I think you'll find that this registration process will be easier once you start doing it a few times. Now, the reason I say that is because you're able to enter multiple athletes or coaches or partners, chaperones that are going to multiple events only one time. So if you have the same athlete that is participating in flag football that also did golf, or if you have a coach that's all 4 events or 3 events, you can enter that information once and just select those different sports for that. And I'll show you that here in a second. So if we get into this third menu here, it's participant registrations. You'll have a screen that pops up that looks like this. Registered members of the delegation. As you add coaches or athletes or chaperones or partners here, it'll form a list. So you'll be able to see exactly what you entered. You can edit those entries up until those deadlines should anything need to change. And it tells you all that here as well. Once you have those listed, you can sort them by their role. You can sort them by the sport that they're participating in or they're registered for. You can search for them, and you can also download this data to an Excel file if you'd like to see all of it there as well. But to begin your registration for those events, you'll click Add New, and it'll pop you up to this registration form. As you select some of these fields, the form will grow to a point that you can enter more information for those people. So for example here, let's start with an athlete registration. And we'll just use a fake name here. You'll select their sex, either male or female. You'll select their birthday. You can click on here and select the year. So whatever year you'd like, you can select that. And it will populate it for you. And then this is where you select the sport. So let's say this athlete here, Bob Lewis, is going to do equestrian. Notice that when you select equestrian, some new fields have popped up. You're asked for the date of the signature on his medical form. You're then asked for the horse name. We'll say Seabiscuit. You're asked to enter a division. This division must be the same for each event that this athlete enters. And I also put the descriptions of what those divisions are. So if you're a walk-only independent, so no assistant in the arena, but that horse is only walking, you'd be CI. You can click on that. For your equestrian events, here's the list of the events that we're offering for our state competition. You can choose up to 2. So maybe you're Equitation English, but also Working Trails English. Select 2 choices, up to 2. You can also only select 1 if you're just entering for 1 event. Then it asks you, does the athlete have documented limb paralysis? Yes or no? And any other limitations that judges should be aware of. At that point, that's all that is required for an athlete for equestrian. So you can hit save, and then it'll come back to this form right here, where then you can add another athlete or partner and coach and go so on and so forth. So say for the same thing, say we wanted to do a coach for equestrian. Fill out the same forms, select their birth date. Maybe this coach was born in 1991. You'll select the sport for which they coach, and then you'll put their Class A expiration date. These can also be found, if you don't have them offhand, these can be found on the local coordinator Dropbox for the master certification list. It'll tell you their background check, Class A expiration date there. And then you can hit save. And again, it'll pop you back to here. And eventually these will load down here. But again, it's communicating back and forth with different programs, so it may take some time. But while you're waiting, you can continue to add new. So let's do the chaperone and the head of delegation would be the same for equestrian. So let's move on to the next sport. So for this, we'll do flag football. Actually, for this one, let's do softball skills. So an athlete for softball skills, you'll put their name, their sex, their birthday, and select their sport. Well, let's say Sue doesn't only do softball skills. Let's say Sue also participates in golf. Or for our purpose, since we've already done it, equestrian. Notice how more equestrian information pops up and softball skills information pops up. So if you have athletes, or for that matter, coaches or chaperones that are going to come to multiple events, you can put them in the same form. No need to fill out separate forms for each event for those registrants. All you need to do is make sure that you put their sport that they're coming to in here. Again, you'll put their date of medical form. And you might ask, well, why do I need the medical form if there are softball skills? It's because equestrian, because we don't have an equestrian regional event. So that's why that pops up. If you were to remove equestrian, you can see that medical form prompts you and it disappears. You can put in multiple information. We've already walked through the equestrian, so we'll go through softball skills. It asks for your qualifying score from your regional tournament. You'll put that in as a whole number. And then if there's any accommodation requests for that athlete, you can type them in here. If not, just leave it blank. And you can hit save. Continuing on, say you do a chaperone for softball skills. Same type of deal. Put their first, last name, their gender, and their birth date. And the date of their Class A expiration for their background check. You can hit save. Let's look at athlete registration for golf. So again, you'll put their first and last name, their gender, their birthday. Oh, we'll go this way. Says golf, and it pops up golf information. At this point, you can select singles or unified pairs. If you select singles, it'll ask you for their qualifying score from their regional, and if they require accommodations. If not, you can leave that blank. What also pops up when you select singles is, does this athlete have a caddy? If so, please list their first and last name, but then also register this person as a chaperone. So if this athlete has a caddy, you'll type their last name and then hit save. Now say this athlete was going to be doing unified, was part of a unified pair. Again, you'll put their qualifying score from the regional event that unified pair scored. Any accommodations you put here. But then you'll notice that this question changed to give this unified pair a team name in the form of athlete last name and partner last name. So for example, this person's last name is Big. So I put Big / and say his partner is Jones. Big / Jones. Athlete last name, partner last name. Then hit save. Please be sure though, if that's the case, that you go back in here and you register the partner. John Jones. Male. Put his birthday. Sport. That class A expiration date. Unified pair. That qualifying score should match that of their partner. And again, you would put the same thing down here. Big / Jones. And hit save. And you will keep going through this for each person in your delegation, coach, chaperone, athlete, partner, that you're registering for any of the events. Lastly, we'll show what it looks like for flag football. We'll put another name in here. Flag football. Because flag football doesn't have a regional, you'll have to enter that medical form date of signature. Then it asks you for the team's division. So for flag football, we have traditional or unified adult or unified school age. Select that division and then enter the team name. So maybe we're the Bobcats, traditional. That's my team name, and I hit save. So you'll go through and you'll enter that for each person that you're registering for any of your events. The best part about this is once it all populates, which again, it can take some time because we're communicating back and forth from different systems here. Once they all pop up, you can sort them by their role, make sure you didn't miss any of your athletes, coaches, partners, chaperones. You can sort them by the sport. So you say, okay, I want to check all my golf registrations. You can select golf and all your golf people will show up there. You can download those files as Excel files. You can edit this information. So if you made a mistake, you can edit it up until that deadline. This should help with making sure that you have the information that you need, that you didn't miss anyone while you're registering. And it also just gives you the data there so you can get confirmation of what you've submitted. So again, in our portal here, this is just our home page. It'll have your program's name and your name and information. This will show those events that you registered for using this form. And then once you get all logged in there, they'll pop up. and then you'll be able to put your registrations in here. Again, this can take time. Please be patient with it as we're working out some of the kinks with getting these records to display. But once they all come through and sync over from our other database, these will pop up accordingly. So looking back at our initial email that has all this information in it that you get, I listed some brief instructions here to help you out while watching this video or before you watch the video, just to remind you on what you do. The first step is always completing that local program registration form. After you do that, you'll complete each specific one for your delegation on that stacker page. Again, logging into that stacker page, you shouldn't need a password. You type in that email and it'll give you an email that is similar to this. And you'll put that code in or just click that magic link and it'll take you right there. No password required. And then once you do all that, you can download any of your entries. And again, as a bonus, if you're registering athletes, partners, coaches, or chaperones for multiple events, you only need to fill that out once per each person. You just have to hit all the different events that they're participating in, put the information required for that event, and save it, and that will register those athletes or coaches or chaperones or partners for multiple events. In this email, I also include the registration deadlines for each event. So Equestrian, our Equestrian show deadline for registration is August 25th at noon, 12 p.m. noon. Our state golf registration is August 25th at 12 p.m. noon. Our state softball skills registration is August 30th at 12 p.m. noon. Again, if your team makes it past your regional, I will reach out separately to confirm that information to make sure your registration is accurate. So you're really only filling this part out for softball skills at state. And then flag football, our registration is due September 27th at 12 p.m. noon. You can disregard this part. I'm going to include it in the same email. Please note here that late entries will not be accepted. Since we do have wait lists for some of these events starting to form already, after that deadline listed up here, those registrations will cut off and I will move on to the wait list to fill any extra spots that did not get registered. If I do not reach out to your program, specifically letting you know that you have been granted some waitlist spots, then unfortunately this time around you were not selected as part of the random lottery to get those spots. Again, I included some information on what is attached to this email that you'll receive. Each of these events has its own information page called Registration Communication, which gives you plenty of information to help your planning start moving along for your programs. More information as it's available will be sent to you via email. Also attached to this is the Equestrian show patterns. There's 3 attachments for that as well. One last thing to highlight for our fall games competitions is we'll be using the Special Olympics Ohio Rules Manual. If you click on this link, it'll take you directly to our page on our website. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. It'll take you right to our page on our website here under traditional sports where you can select those different sports and download those manuals right here. We will be following these for our state competitions, so you should be familiar with those manuals. And if you have any questions during this process, please reach out to me via email, zcarley@sooh.org, and we'll be happy to help you. I hope that you find this process to be much easier and much more straightforward than in the past, as we're continuing to try to streamline our process for registration and make it not only less time consuming for you, the local coordinator, filling it out for your program, but also make sure we're capturing the data that we need to make sure we get it into our GMS system properly. Thank you for your time, and please reach out with any questions. Thank you.